Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Jai Sri Ram. So welcome to our next episode in our complete reading of Srimad Ramayana. In the last episode, we saw all the qualities that were needed in a king as described by Ramayana, and Dasaratha possessed all those qualities. So all these qualities were needed, and Dasaratha possessed all those qualities, and we also tried to map them to how a leader should behave in our current times according to Ramayana. Right? Now, a king is not enough to run a country, right? He needs a group of ministers. A leader is not enough to run a team. He also needs a group of advisors. So, how should those ministers be? How should those, and in the modern days, how should those advisors be? That's also described in Ramayana. And let us see what are those qualities that are being asked of ministers. So, Srimad Ramayana in the 7th Sarga of Balakanda, it clearly says that a king should not recruit any minister without putting him to two tests. Now, what are those two tests? That of Kamini and Kanchana. So, no minister should be appointed without testing his longing for lust and his longing for money. Only then, these two are like the hygiene factors. If someone is falling for either of them, they have no business being ministers. That's an extremely basic diehard rule that Ramayana prescribes to all of us. Okay, and this is called upatha. Okay, the test is called upatha, and anyone who is crossing upatha, who is not pulled in by upatha, only becomes the minister. And Dasharatha had a number of ministers, and primarily there were 8 ministers. And the beauty of these 8 ministers is the quality that a minister needs to have, that is directly defined in their names itself. For example, the first minister is Drishti. Drishti is one who can, and the quality that is required here, in the indirect meaning about the quality that is required here is that the person should be having a laser like focus in what he is doing. Okay, and he should also have enough samardhya to complete the task. The second minister is Jayanta, the man who can win, the man whose character is to win normally. Vijaya is someone who, when he enters into any conflict, gets out the victory for the king. That's Vijaya. Siddhartha is a person who, if he starts for an activity, he can get that activity done. That's Siddhartha. Artha Sadhaka, any person who, or Ardha Sadhaka's characteristics, are the meaning of Ardha Sadhaka as such is, if he decides on doing any particular activity, come what may, he will finish that activity, and he has it in him to stay focused till the end. That's Artha Sadhaka. And then Ashoka, any person who is never complaining about whatever work he's doing. He doesn't feel the sadness at any point of time whenever he's working. Mantrapalaka is a person who keeps everything secret. I mean, whatever the king communicates to him, his ability is to keep it secret. And the last is Sumantra, a person who can give good thoughts to the king. Now, these were 8 ministers who existed, and as their name suggests, these are 8 qualities that are also desired in the ministers. Now, beyond these, also, they had a lot of ministers, and they all had these qualities, is what we need to understand. Also, Dasharatha had 2 Purohitas. There were a number of them. The 2 most important people were Vasishtha and Vamadeva, and these people, they see the entire world as Bhagavan. Okay, and every activity that Vasishtha and Vamadeva do, they think that as an activity that's being done for the sake of God. So every work of theirs is service to God. So even if they're training kids, that's service to God. If they're doing some puja, it's service to God. Whatever they do in their lives, they believe that it's service to God. Okay, and not just this, and in every activity that they do, in every desired activity that they do, they constantly pray for the king's happiness, the kingdom's happiness, Like that, there were a lot. I mean, they had a lot of good qualities, but these are the prime qualities. And there were other Purohitas also who were employed by Dasharatha Maharaja. Okay, now here Ramayana also says all the ministers, see, not just the eight that we mentioned, all the ministers that the king had, they were supposed to have 25 qualities. The first one, they should be adept in Shastras or the knowledge. For example, if he is a justice minister, he should know the rules and regulations of constitution end to end. Okay, anyone who is not very well educated should not be a minister, was the first rule. Second, anyone who has committed a crime previously, anyone who is, who has a lot of shyness, anyone who feels shy of trying multiple times, all these people are not qualified as ministers. And a minister's primary responsibility was to implement whatever was the correct thing. So niti, whatever was niti, that was supposed to be implemented. That's an important quality that a minister had to possess. Again, indriya nigraha was another important quality. So we are done with four. The fifth one that they were saying is they should be, I mean, the king should ensure that they are already having enough. They are already naturally, or they come from wealthy either they come from wealthy families, or they are already wealthy just because they have become ministers. Because the aim to have them wealthy, or the aim to keep them wealthy, the ministers wealthy, is because they handle a lot of money of the state. If they are not wealthy, they might take the resources from the state. So keeping them wealthy, or picking people from a wealthy family, or keeping the moment they become a minister, ensure that they are wealthy enough, give them enough money that they can live with all the pleasures of life, so that they are not tricked by that to do bad things and earn more money. That should always be stopped. And then they should have a sight into the future. Then they should also know the theory of governance very well. They should know the theory of politics very well. And they should know how to fight. Okay. And they should earn their virtues by either implementing good things or in war. Okay. And the moment a king orders them to do something, they should implement the order. Like we are done with 10 now. The 11th one is whatever the king orders, they should be able to follow it to the, I mean, they should, to the T. They should be following it like completely, right? And then they should also have, I mean, they should also be good in prayers. They should have enough tejas, so that the anybody who tries to influence them, or any enemy, just by looking at the radiance in their face, he should or they should back out. Okay, the enemy should back out. And then the 13th quality is these people should have in them to forgive people. Okay, then they should have a laughing face. They should not be very dismissive of people. They should be good at entertaining people, entertaining in the sense entertaining the grievances of the people. And then in a very short time, they should try to provide a solution and send them back. They should always have a smile on their face when they're talking to people. Okay, they should never speak lies, either due to anger or due to desire. They should never speak lies. Okay, and they should be able to maintain such networks, so that without their knowledge, nothing should happen in their country as well as in the other countries, which essentially means they should have a good spy network, so that they get the information very very quickly. Okay, so again, one, they should be knowing everything that's happening. In the 17th quality also, they're saying the same thing. They should be able to get the information very quickly. Those are two qualities. One is for internal, one is for the external. The 18th one, they should be very adept in doing any sort of activities. Okay, and then in the 19th quality is they should be tested, and someone should determine that they really have the love for the king. Okay, and not for anybody else. Okay, the 20th quality, this is a very very tough quality for anyone to have. They're saying if even their son commits Rajadroha, even if their daughter commits Rajadroha, if they have gone against the interest of the state, they should be able to punish them. That sort of mental toughness is needed. Okay, and the 21st quality, they should always be focused on earning more for the kingdom. Okay. 22nd, they should know how to organize the army in a proper way, and they should also be adept at providing salaries, etc., to not just the armed forces, but to all the people in the country. Okay. 23rd, they should know how to face enemies. 24th quality, anyone who is good, anyone who has a very good character, anyone who has not done a mistake, they should never be punished by these ministers, and but they should have ability to punish people who do bad things. And then the 25th quality, they should have knowledge on how not to extract a lot of tax from intellectuals. So they should always have it in their mind that they should not be overtaxing intellectuals and the army. Okay. Without overtaxing intellectuals and the army, they should make out ways through which they can increase the overall treasure, or overall treasure that resides in the treasury. Then the 26th quality is, I mean, I said 25 before, I beg your pardon. It's total of 27, so that was a small mistake from my side. Hope you'd not mind it. The 26th quality is, even if they did a small, even if someone did a small mistake, some people might commit a small mistake, some people might commit a big mistake, they should really understand why the mistake was committed and the understanding level of the person who committed the mistake. Okay. So, and based on the ability, they should implement the punishment. And the last one, they should always have purity, purity in thoughts, purity in actions, purity in their behavior, and purity in the place in which they live, and the purity in the way they conduct themselves. So these are these 27 qualities that were there in Dasaratha's ministers in the last episode. All the qualities that we described that were needed for a king, that Dasaratha had, and all the qualities that his advisors or his ministers need to have, they also had. Because of all of this, Ayodhya was impregnable, and nobody could even touch that fortress. And Kosala was one of the wealthiest kingdoms of the world at that particular point of time. And probably kings and the advisors today, or leaders and their advisors today, having these qualities really helps. So hope the kings and the advisors today also take up these qualities and follow the path which Ramayana has said. Okay, with that, we end this episode, and in our next episode, we'll see what was worrying Dasharatha. Okay, so let's meet in our next episode. Till then, सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ओम तत्सत. जय श्री राम.